Okay, I am going to draw this one as I would possibly draw him if I was at a live digital caricature event. So I just do a bare minimum sketch. Usually it's just like the silhouette of the shape. But I will tell you what I'm thinking. There's a reason that I drew it like this. And basically this is it. So I'm looking at the photo and I'm making some decisions about the head shape. I'm going to exaggerate it a little bit, not too much. So I'm kind of splitting the head in half at the eyes. And I'm saying which side is bigger. I'm thinking that this is smaller at the eyes. This section is smaller, this section is bigger. And so I've made this section a little bit bigger than it actually is in the photo, and this one a little bit smaller. Not by much, but it's there. And then the other thing I'm thinking is the eye section. Let me just put some different lines on here so you see what I mean. The eyes to the bottom of the nose. That's fairly small. I mean, on an average face, maybe the nose would come down to here. And so what I can do is shrink that even more while I'm drawing. So I'm going to click on the line layer. And here we go. Hopefully I don't mess this up. I did a couple of sketches in my sketchbook to just see if this would come out good. And it came out pretty good, so hopefully this comes out good as well, if that makes sense. My sketch came out good. Alright, here we go. Drawing this eye. And I'm trying to get my lines to look good. Sometimes my lines can be shaky if I slow down too much. Okay, I want to show you something about the stabilization of lines. So this is James's pen, and it's kind of natural. As you can see, there's a little bit of shakiness in there. And that doesn't bother me all that much, but I'm thinking I want a version where the lines are more stabilized. So I'm going to click on the paintbrush. Here's James's pen. That's the drawing. That's what I'm using to draw right now. And when I click on it, that takes me into Brush Studio. And then I can make some adjustments to this. But first, let me duplicate this. So I'm going to slide it to the left. Then I have Share, Duplicate, or Delete. I'm going to hit Duplicate. Now, one thing I dislike about Procreate, I love Procreate, but I don't like Duplicate and Delete being right next to each other because I'm always afraid I'm going to accidentally hit Delete. But I hit Duplicate. Now I'm going to click on that. I'm in my Brush Studio. And you know what I'm going to do is I am going to rename this James's pen stabilized. You don't have to do this, but this is just so I got it. Okay, so now you got all these options, and I'm going to click on stabilization. And then up here I have a slider called Streamline, and I've got it at 38% right now. I'm going to pump that up to, let's say 75%. Close enough. I've got it at 75. Now this one is called Pressure. I'm not going to mess with that because the pressure is where I like it. But stabilization, let's pump that up to 40%. And I can come back and adjust this if I want. But let's see what kind of effect that had. You can see how it's much smoother, and the software is making up for my mistakes, if that makes sense. It's making the lines much smoother. So if I draw more or less that eye that I drew, let's see what happens. So it's taken out the small little shakiness that was in those lines. And it may help me, draw faster and have the smooth lines that I like. So that is how you stabilize any brush. You can do that to anything. You can click on any one of these brushes, then you click on it, you go to Brush Studio, and you click on Stabilization, and you have all those sliders to play with. I just undid all of that. If you look at the photo, his eye actually, it's up high. It doesn't touch this bottom line. So I drew it down too low. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to add a little highlight, fill that in, add a shadow from the lid, and bada bing. And another thing I'm noticing is that this eye is a system that fits together. I'm going to show you what I mean, but let me kind of fill in this eyebrow real quick. So basically, the lines of the eye, the eyelid, the eyebrow, and like the wrinkled lines underneath the eyebrow, they all kind of fit together and they're really close. So I'm going to cause them all to like touch each other. They're like come to that point. And then you see what I mean? It's like a system that all works together. This system that works together. So I'm thinking if I can draw it like a system that's working together and not these separate parts, it's going to look like a more awesome drawing. Or I'm hoping that's what happens. We'll find out. Oops. Can I go back to the black color? And just so you know, this is a YouTube subscriber, and he is also an artist too. He filled out that form on my website called Draw Me on YouTube, and the photos that he sent me, in one of the photos, he's standing next to some awesome portraits, and he's holding paintbrushes. So I have to assume that he is also an artist. And I wish that when I was young, I wish I had learned how to paint. But I never did learn how to paint. I've always been kind of good at drawing. But painting is a totally different story. Because here I'm using lines to create a face. Whereas painting, you're just using color. You're using shadows. And you're not using lines at all. And to me, that's a lot harder. I mean, I would need to take a course on that. Okay, so now the nose. Let's see. I'm going to exaggerate his nose. I'm going to make it closer to the eyes. And that's all, it all depends on how much you want to exaggerate. You could bring it way up here and it would look crazy, or not so much. Let's see what happens. So far, so good. It's super exaggerated, so if you're watching this, Mr. Rucker, I hope you're laughing already. It's just meant for fun, and okay, now for the chin. This is what I'm really exaggerating. But let me not forget these wrinkle lines. That's something that I'm learning. Let me show you on a different layer. Is get a different color. Is trying to draw by thinking about the negative spaces. On a face, sometimes this is the negative space. This muscle, or a group of flesh and muscle, is shaped like that. Now, I'm not actually going to draw that, but I am going to draw the things around it. So if I get that shape right, it's going to end up looking more like him. So I'm thinking about this shape. I'm not actually going to draw it, but when I draw these smile lines, they are defined by that invisible shape caused by his cheek muscles. If that makes sense. Okay, back to these. So basically I just choose a skin tone, go to the color layer, and then let's see what I do here. This is the easy way, especially if I'm at a digital gig where I'm trying to draw someone in just a few minutes. Outline all of that and then drop the color on it and it fills it. I just wanted to let you know that if you want to download my favorite Procreate brush and the one I just created during this video, also the Procreate layers group and my skin tone swatches, I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video and make that available to you. It is for a very low price, but it supports the channel if you're interested. Thanks. Okay, now we're going to add some shadows. I wonder what this would look like if I don't blend in these shadows. Usually I blend in the edges with the smudge tool. But let's see what it looks like if I don't blend in at all. Let's go to the highlights. Okay, so there it is, and I did not blend my highlights or my shadows at all. So let me know what you think. Does that look cool and stylish, or does it look crazy and not so good? I just want to add some color variation to his lips there. If you zoom in close, it looks like crap. Excuse my language. But if you zoom out, it kind of blends together and looks cool. But let's see what it would look like if I blend everything in. So there it is with the highlights and the shadows blended in. Let me know which one you like the best. If you've already purchased the Procreate downloads, I'm going to take that stabilized brush I just created and put it in that Google Drive file, and you can go there and download it. If you haven't got those yet, there's a link in the description. And thank you.